Welcome to Masterpiece Tarot. Here you will find timeless messages to guide your soul's awakening. If you're here, trust you are meant to be. You can show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing. These help support my mission of bringing more peace to the earth. Okay, collective, welcome in, welcome in. I'm thinking I'm going to start off here with a divine masculine reading. So, I've got to decide on what deck to use here. I think we'll use the light seers. All right. I'm seeing that a lot of these cards are in the reverse. I meant to go through that and fix it. I think we'll not use that deck. I'm not the best at reversals quite yet. I'm working on it. Okay, and I've been reading tarot for a long time and I've never liked to read reversals, so perhaps I have some resistance to that. All right, Spirit, thank you for using me as a channel to bring through these messages for the collective. I want to make sure my microphone is exposed here. Oh, I'm going to do that. Let's make sure. I think my microphone's been a little on the soft side. Maybe now it's a bit louder. I'm not sure. Let's see what happens here. Okay, collective. So, divine masculine. Talk to us about divine masculine, Spirit. Help us to deliver these messages for the masculines in the collective. Male or female, it doesn't matter what gender you are. These are energies. Yeah, so these are messages to assist your understanding of what's happening for divine masculine at this time. All right, we'll cut the deck. And we will go ahead and begin. Thank you again, Spirit. What have you got for us here? The Hermit. All right, first card out is the Hermit. So our masculine here is spending some time in solitude, looking within, seeking some answers, and looking to maybe transmute some of these experiences into wisdom. Yeah, so that he can come back to the community and perhaps share what he's learned. Energy crossing. Strength. Okay, well, there might be some resistance sometimes when we're very strong. This is Leo energy. When we're very strong, sometimes we resist what's uncomfortable because we're strong and our egos are strong. Sometimes we have defense mechanisms. That's part of what helps us to be strong. On the other side of that, we need to be a bit vulnerable to do this inner work. Okay, so that might be the energy that's a bit of a barrier for masculine at this time. Conscious space. You guys, when these cards come out, all these major arcanas, 3 out of 3, that is like nuts. All right, so this karmic wheel is turning. Masculine is aware. He may be thinking a lot about, what's happening in his life right now. Okay, the good things that are happening, as well as some of the challenges. And perhaps he's seeing these experiences through the lens of karma, Have the seeds that he has sown led to, good outcomes or less than optimal outcomes? What's in the unconscious space? What is not being seen by masculine at this time? Well, here we have a sense of loss, sadness, grief. There may be certain things that our masculine here is blocking out, and that might speak to this strength, these ego defenses that we just talked about. What is in the recent past? We have a 2 of Wands, so there perhaps was a choice that was made and some plans were being laid by our masculine. We'll have to dig in and see what that's about. And this across here pertains more to the external. Okay, and then here in the near future we have a King of Pentacles. We might be talking about a earth sign, masculine or feminine, but this is a masculine reading. So this is how our masculine is seeing himself at this time. We've got the Four of Cups. This is about holding oneself back, feeling a little apathetic. You know, this person's not sure if they want to accept that cup of love. Might be feeling a little depressed, a little down, uninspired. He's got his arms crossed in front of his body. So that kind of body language tells us I'm closed off for some reason or another. How are other people seeing what's happening here with this masculine? Well, it seems to be a tower moment for folks here in the environment. So this could be seen as a sudden transformation. Could whatever our masculine's going through, which looks like some kind of growth, because when we're in Hermit, we're thinking a lot about ourselves, and with the wheel, things are progressing toward the future. So the changes that are coming may be viewed by folks in the environment as an upheaval, a collapse. Remember though, with the tower, after the collapse, there's a rebuilding. It's an ending, but there's a new beginning attached. Hopes and fears, the Hanged One. This is Pisces energy. So there's a sense that, you know, there's a hope, I think, that there will come enlightenment from this hermiting. Okay? That there will be some truths that are discovered, that this waiting period will be worth it, that our masculine, he may hope that he is able to withstand the waiting period and have the patience to persevere through this. And our outcome, we have a Page of Pentacles. So that's somebody who is looking at the Pentacles. So pages are students, novices. They're learning about that element. So this is a younger person learning about things in the material world. We'll have to see what that's about. Oh, and then we get to the Lovers, Gemini energy. So there's a sense that perhaps this divine masculine is progressing toward a lover's situation. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, let's clarify here. Spirit, help us clarify these cards here and get a little bit deeper into this, the meaning of this reading here for masculine. We want the nitty-gritty details. We want the little subtleties and the little things that aren't so obvious. Help us understand. What's masculine dealing with here with the Hermit? Let's actually cut. Let's shuffle one more and we'll cut. Clarify the Hermit card, please, Spirit. We have the Hanged Man again, a Death card, and the Magician. Wow. You guys, these are all major arcanas. This is a huge moment for masculine. Whatever masculine's dealing with here, if this is you, masculine, or if this is your divine masculine, feminine, if I'm speaking to you, this divine masculine is going through an enormous shift in consciousness right now. There's a sense that he's letting things go, that he's releasing things, and that he's going to be manifesting something new here in the future. I cannot believe we have 4 major arcanas, and you watched me pull those cards. That's for real. Unreal. That seems very clear to me. That's big energy. That's not little details that we're looking for, but it is the gist of it. I mean, this is a big, important movement happening for this particular divine masculine collective that I'm reading for. Tell us about strength. What's this strength? So we said we thought it might be ego, but it might be something else. But how is strength a barrier to this process? Is this his own strength? The world. You guys, I'm sorry to say it, but this is insanity. So we have strength clarified by the world. What is happening with the cards? Wheel of Fortune. I cannot. I really am like in a state of shock right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8 cards right here in the very first part of this reading. The odds of that, we're going to have to chat GPT that. The odds of that are very slim. Slim, slim. Just saying, okay? Wow, the strength. Now, this is a barrier, but why? Why is the strength a barrier? And we have a 7 of Wands in the reverse. I think this is significant, so much so that I'm going to just take a quick moment, you guys. I want to look it up. Normally that's somebody who is defending themselves. They have a strong conviction about something. In the reverse, it tends to mean something slightly different. It's strategy and planning. Okay. So it's not chaotic, it's strategy and planning. You know what I'm getting here? I think this masculine is very focused on whatever it is that is being built, that whatever it is that comes after the world. So the world is about achieving something and closing out a cycle and leveling up along a journey. It's different than death. This is somebody's been on a journey, and this is just another part of the journey that's a level higher. It's taken some strength to get here. The karmic wheel is turning in his favor, and he's doing a lot of strategizing and planning. And this could be in the material world. And with that focus on the material, especially if this is a King of Pentacles, that would make sense. Right? Yeah. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. These guys are really focused on the material world. That heavy focus on the material could be the barrier to this deeper inner work. I can't believe all these majors here. This is wild. This is a big moment for whoever I'm reading for, this masculine. This is like huge, life-changing, big stuff happening here. Big. Major. I had a reading like this yesterday for Divine Feminine that felt major. This feels major with all these major arcans. Oh, so tell us a little more about the Wheel of Fortune. How's this? What's happening with the karmic wheel? This, a lot of people, it's common to think that this is about wealth, prosperity, good fortune, and it certainly can be. But I think also sometimes the karmic wheel doesn't turn in our favor. I mean, it turns in our favor in the sense that it's turning so that we can receive another lesson that we can learn from. And sometimes that lesson carries us forward in a very positive way, and it's smooth sailing, and it's wonderful and magical and exciting, and there aren't, there aren't any speed bumps. Sometimes the lesson is different. Sometimes the lesson is one that's more difficult, meant to teach us something about perhaps something that we've done in the past, something to do with your past life that needs clearing. So in the sense that we always have an opportunity to learn a lesson, it's a positive, it's, turning in our favor. But to think that you're never going to have bad karma, or I don't like to say bad karma, but karmic lessons that are challenging is not the case. Prosperity, yeah, maybe, but maybe not. Okay, so now here we have a 7 of Swords. So there is a sense that there was maybe some sneaking and cheating. but maybe there's some healing from that with the Star. And the Chariot, look at all of these major arcanas. So this Seven of Swords is significant in the sense that it's the one minor, along with this planning and strategizing. And this card can be about strategy. Every other card out is a major arcana. You guys, the odds of this is like a divine intervention in that you are witnessing and that I am witnessing right now. I just got to shout out to Spirit here, because this is something else. So there's a sense that if there was anything that was deceptive, that was harmful, let's say it that way, this is something that may be needing to be healed at this time, and our masculine could be going through something where he's aware of this. Okay? But after this healing, there's a sense that things can really start to move ahead. And the healing looks like maybe being in the Hanged Man energy. And that card just fell, and that they don't usually fall, so that tells me focus on the healing. Divine Masculine, if you're listening to this, just focus on your healing right now. You know, and the other thing I'm getting strongly is with this Strength, if healing is needed, it's okay to put down some of this planning, strategizing, whatever it is that you may be focused on. This could actually be a barrier to your healing at this time. The wheel's going to keep turning. You don't have to worry about that. And what's meant for you is going to be for you. So focus on your healing, if that resonates, masculines. Personally, I'm of the belief that there's always healing work to do in life. It's a never-ending thing. We don't need to focus on it all the time, but, you know, in this case, this might be a message from Spirit saying this would be a good time to focus on your healing. What's with the Five of Cups here in the unseen, unconscious space? Okay, here we have a Six of Pentacles. This is about reciprocity, equal give and take. Strength again. And a Ten of Pentacles. I wonder if part of this karma and what's needing to be healed, I'm wondering, this is just a theory, this is something that intuitively came to mind. I'm wondering if part of this karma is a loss of some kind, and that loss has to do with fairness, has to do with divvying something up, giving equally. I also am wondering if some of these, you know, cups hold emotion and love, and okay, and I'm wondering if some of these cups aren't spilt over because maybe because of that Seven of Swords, but also maybe because there wasn't fairness. Something was not fair in the past. And there may be a sense of trying to make it right now, trying to balance it out now to get back to a Ten of Pentacles. Somehow this is hidden. I wonder if this is somebody else that masculine's not seeing, who's making something fair, that's causing masculine to have a sense of loss. And in order to cope with this loss, he's going to need to be strong in order to rebuild to this Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm getting the sense that this masculine energy might be feeling a little depressed, but he might not quite understand why. It might be an unconscious thing related to something in the material world. It could be money, it could be property, it could be a job, it could be relationships. Yeah, there's a loss that somebody's making something fair, and it's causing this feeling in our masculine, but he's not understanding what these feelings are about. It could also be that he's feeling this way because somebody else was doing this in his life. Look at all these positive cards, and then this is like a standout right here. It could have been him in the Seven of Swords, or it could have been somebody else. Sometimes we don't deal with our difficult feelings. You know, sometimes it's painful to face into our pain. I guess that's a silly thing to say. It's difficult because it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. There are a lot of other things that feel a lot better, and we don't want to look at it. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. I mean, distraction is a great technique to, you don't want to allow yourself to just get into a depressed state and never come out of it. I mean, there are all kinds of strategies to get out of this, but it is important to look at it. And I'm sort of curious about it. I'm not super clear on the meaning of this, except to say there might be some work to do around this feeling for the masculine that we're reading for here today. Two of Wands, Spirit, what's this about? So there was a choice, and then there's some planning. There's a Tower, a Six of Wands, and the Devil. This victorious person, who I feel like is the masculine we're reading for, who's also this person who made a choice. It's almost as if he had a choice between allowing a tower to collapse or staying with the devil. It's almost as if that was the choice. Stick with the devil, which is, I think, the one back here, the wand that's behind him that he doesn't choose, or allow the tower to fall. And the fact that we have a victorious masculine, it looks like he made the right choice. It looks like he probably made the choice to let the tower fall. Why do I say that? Because we see the tower here in the environment. Other people are seeing it too. He made a choice to let something collapse, to let something fall. It was not built on a good foundation. It was shaky, and it couldn't withstand that bolt of lightning. It wasn't built to code. You know what I'm saying? So our masculine has made a good choice. But, that there might have been things in that tower that our masculine really liked and loved and cared about, and now the tower has come down and we have these spilt over cups, and there's a sense of loss, grief, sadness. I can't believe this reading. It's so crystal clear so far. Spirit really comes through, and then sometimes we get messages that are like so muddled. This energy is like a crystal clear, like a diamond so far, but we're just gonna see what happens here. King of Pentacles, here in the future. What's this about? This is somebody who has mastered the material world. This is somebody who's like very nurturing, very grounded, very stable. He's a leader. He gives good advice. He would make a good mentor, a business mentor maybe. And we have a King of Swords. This could be another person, or this could be an aspect of our masculine. He could be very discerning. We have a Three of Swords and a Three of Cups. Well, considering that this choice that was made to allow the Tower to come down, I see here in the future, I think that our Divine Masculine here is making a choice to move away, to cut out this pain, this heartbreak that he is feeling or has been feeling, this loss. He's making a decision to cut it out so that there can be a feeling of celebration, a feeling of renewal, a feeling of coming back together with loved ones, coming together with new people, with family. There's a sense of really releasing. This could be like putting up strong boundaries. If there was somebody or a certain situation or a job, okay, that left our Divine Masculine feeling like they had three swords through their heart, like heartbroken pain, then our masculine here is making a choice to let it go, cut it out, move on, move ahead to the happier times. Why is masculine feeling like this? What's with the apathy here, not wanting to accept a cup of love from the divine? What's going on here? Fool. A Two of Pentacles and an Eight of Swords. I know what I'm getting here. I think our masculine might be holding back because he senses that there's this leap of faith that he needs to take right now. But because we see that he's in the Hermit, and because we see that strength is blocking him, there could be a sense that he's holding on to a situation that he's trying to balance. He's almost like he's trying to balance the old and the new. And that could be for practical reasons. That could be for some kind of emotional attachment. That could be something internal. Maybe he's not all the way through the grieving process, even though there's this intention to get through the grieving process with the King of Swords to the Three of Cups. But it's like whatever he's feeling, this apathetic feeling that he is in a sense keeping himself imprisoned. I think he's still trying to balance something out in his life, or he might be juggling something. I mean, considering these cards here, this is a powerful moment in this masculine's life. He's made a very important decision in the past to leave a devil energy, to allow a tower to fall. He knows that this will bring victory. It could be that, you know, maybe there's a move that has to happen. Like if somebody, let's say they live out of state or they live outside of the country, they know they're on the right track, but there's a practical matter that is yet to be resolved. They could be living with somebody else. They could have, you know, property that has to be divvied up. I'm not sure. Something in the material that's needing to be balanced, and it's leaving this person immobilized, stuck up in their head, they're tied up. But, you know, it's often said that the ties that are binding this person are loose, that they can be removed by this person themselves. So in a way, it's a choice to remain trapped. And with these strategy cards that came out, we had the Seven of Swords, which is about deception, but it can be about strategy. And certainly this card in the reverse is about strategy. This could be strategic. And maybe this is how masculine is seeing his choices at this time, as being strategic. That's what I'm getting. Now, let's see if we can learn about the Tower. What has our masculine allowed to come down? How is this affecting people in the environment? And how is that, in turn, affecting our masculine? There's a Seven of Pentacles. There's a Three of Pentacles. And there's an Emperor. Okay. Well, you know what I'm getting a little bit? We were just saying something about divvying things up. Okay, where was that? There's this sense of, where is that one? Isn't there a Justice card somewhere? Well, in any event, oh no, it was the Six. Well, let's not perseverate on this, but in any event, I'm kind of getting the feeling that within the environment or in the community, you know, the Seven is a small crop. This is something that's just beginning to accumulate and build. And there's a sense with this Three of Pentacles next to it, the partnership is what is needed to bring this all the way to the 10. Because we've got 7 and here we have 3. And there's an Emperor here, which could be our divine masculine, actually. And the Tower that came down might have been, if this is an Emperor, there could have been a 10 of Pentacles previously that had been built up, but that maybe it was attached to the Devil. And maybe our divine masculine, who's also perhaps an Emperor, decided that it, you know, to let this fall, knowing full well that this might be received in the community in not such a great way, but because the Emperor is smart and wise, he knows that if he positions things correctly, he can convince people that it's better to build in a less devilish way, in a way that's more in alignment with spirit, that is more ethical, more modern maybe, you know, because sometimes the ways of the old world were, I don't want to say backwards because that's not it, but just less than ideal. We've progressed a lot as human beings, and we understand things differently. We value things differently. You know, we tend to believe that treating others well is the right thing to do. Treating others the way we want to be treated. It doesn't have to just be a fantasy. We don't have to, you know, stick with old structures that disempower people, that we have to live with shame and guilt for doing certain things, that we know it's not right, but we do it because we think it's the right thing to do. So I kind of have the feeling that this Emperor has allowed something that was toxic to collapse. And in the environment, you know, maybe this is being perceived, there may be a sense of optimism here, knowing that there could very well be a new 10 of Pentacles. There is a sense that there's a leader here, so that's good. And yeah, I would say it's a little bit mixed. A little bit mixed because there's uncertainty about whether you know, partnerships, there's always risk. You know, so many businesses fail. So there's always a risk when you're building a partnership to build something. So there might be a mixed bag there with the Tower, how it's being seen in the environment. And then that might affect our masculine too. Like they're needing to be very strong and strategic about how they position their plan, their choices. And that could be contributing to this blocking of the spiritual growth for this masculine at this time. All right, we've got a Hanged Man. Clarified. This is the hopes and fears, clarified by the Page of Cups, a Five of Swords, and a Five of Cups. Okay, so during this waiting period, here's that cup. It's almost like our masculine down here, whoops, where'd he go? Over here, who didn't want to accept the cup, right here, is now hopeful that he'll stand there and be able to look at it. Now that he's in this waiting period, he's having some enlightenment. But clearly there's two fives here. There are other difficult things that are also needing to be processed at this time. What was the conflict about? If there was some type of adversity, which there was because we have the Devil back there that's being released. So there's something that needs to be processed about that, as well as loss. If there was a tower that was built, like we said, and those cups spilt over as that tower came down, then this is something that the masculine may be processing. And of course, there's a hope that this processing will be successful and he won't get stuck in some negative, toxic mind loop, thought loop. I think there's a hope that, you know, the Page of Cups is hoping to offer this cup. Maybe our masculine's hoping he'll be able to accept a cup of love. You know, this could be coming from somebody else too. It could be coming from the divine, or it could just be something offered down here on earth by another. Tell us about the Page of Pentacles. This is another young energy here. Six of Swords, Three of Wands, and an Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, well, you know, here we have it. This young person is getting ready to move out. They're going to be maybe moving out of mom and dad's house, maybe going into their own place. They're expanding with the Three of Wands so that they can, you know, start building toward their future, their own abundance. So this is maybe a process, or it could be about another level, stage of life. But pages are young. And then finally the Lovers. Tell us about this outcome. We have an Ace of Swords, a King of Wands, and an Ace of Pentacles. Wow, nice cards. This looks like a fantastic new start. It's almost like maybe this is between an air sign and an earth sign, because aces are about individuals. Doesn't have to be. Could be just about two individuals. One of them could be a fire sign even, because we have the King of Wands. But the King of Wands is the like, this is fire energy. This is a doer. This is somebody who's going to be doing stuff. And so it's almost like within this Lovers situation, this could be our divine masculine becoming integrated within self, or it could be that he's partnering up with somebody new. I'm kind of leaning towards the latter because we have two individuals here. But in any event, with this King of Wands energy between them, because that is, I believe, how it came out, I think. There's a sense that these two energies together are going to be able to take ideas and alchemize them into material, into money, into make money from these ideas, basically. Yeah, buddy, this is a really cool reading for whoever I'm reading for. This is a super reading. masculines and feminines. I think this bodes well for this particular masculine collective. I think this would suggest that things are really going to be looking good here. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. That has to go here with the Ace of Swords. Balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. Let's do it over here. Okay, it's easy to want to judge the devil, but we don't need to. It's just an energy. You know, we don't need to label people as devils. We don't need to say he's evil. We just need to acknowledge that somebody's operating from that energy in some aspect of life. It's just like, you know, we've gotten away from calling a person with schizophrenia a schizophrenic. Now we refer to a person with schizophrenia as a person experiencing schizophrenia. And some people will laugh and say language doesn't matter, but there's a huge difference between the two. Okay? And so this idea that we don't judge, when we describe somebody's behavior or an attribute, without disregarding their whole being, without identifying this person as the thing that they're struggling with, we are removing that sense of judgment and being more fair. We're being more fair. We are setting the stage for more equality and a higher ethical standard. And I just think that's really important here to think about, because we were talking about building, right, in a better way, releasing the old, ushering in new practices. And indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. Okay? I think if we were going to say that there's any indecision, it might be here during this Hanged Man time of integration, of grappling with these fives, you know, the adversity, the conflict, and the loss. When do we finally say enough is enough? We can sit in it for as long as we want. And sometimes it can lead to indecision. If we're feeling guilty, if we're feeling very sad, if we're, you know, in any of these kinds of emotional states. So processing, digesting those emotions is going to be crucial to moving out of a state of indecision. All right, collective. That is our reading for the Divine Masculine Collective today. Thank you all for tuning in. Bye for now.